I'll tell you something right now. Tennessee is about to completely rewrite everything you thought you knew about the American South. By the time we reach the final fact, you'll understand why this state has shaped more of America than almost any other. Number 35. The state has three official grand divisions. Tennessee is officially divided into three distinct regions: East, Middle, and West Tennessee. And this division is so important, it's written into the state constitution. The three divisions are represented by the three stars on the state flag. Each region has completely different geography, culture, and even political leanings. East Tennessee is mountainous, was pro-Union during the Civil War, and culturally Appalachian. Middle Tennessee is rolling hills and farmland, centered around Nashville. West Tennessee is flat delta farmland more similar to Mississippi than to the eastern part of the state. The divisions are so distinct that people identify as East, Middle, or West Tennesseans first, and Tennesseans second. Drive across the state and you'll cross three different worlds that happen to share a government. Number 34. The Lost Sea is America's largest underground lake. The Lost Sea in Sweetwater is the largest underground lake in the United States and the second largest in the world. The lake sits inside Craighead Caverns and its full extent is still unknown. Divers have explored over 13 acres of water, but the lake continues into unexplored passages. The cave and lake were used by Cherokee Indians, served as a Confederate gunpowder mining operation, and even housed a dance floor in the 1940s. Today, you can take a glass-bottom boat ride on the crystal clear water, surrounded by limestone formations and total darkness beyond your lights. The geology here is classic Tennessee karst. Acidic groundwater dissolved massive chambers in the limestone over millions of years, and the lake formed when the water table intersected those chambers. Standing on the shore of the Lost Sea, you're beside a body of water that extends into darkness farther than anyone has ever mapped. Number 33. Bristol is the birthplace of country music. In 1927, talent scout Ralph Peer set up recording equipment in Bristol, Tennessee, and held auditions that would change American music forever. Over 2 weeks, he recorded the Carter Family and Jimmie Rodgers, among others, in what became known as the Bristol Sessions. These recordings introduced country music to a national audience and established the genre's commercial viability. Bristol straddles the Tennessee-Virginia border. The state line literally runs down the middle of State Street, and the city claims to be the birthplace of country music. The geography of Bristol, isolated in the Appalachian Mountains, preserved musical traditions brought by Scottish and Irish settlers that evolved into country music. A museum now marks the spot where American country music was born, in a hat warehouse on the Tennessee-Virginia border. Number 32. The New Madrid seismic zone threatens Memphis. The New Madrid seismic zone, centered in the Mississippi River Valley near the Tennessee-Missouri-Arkansas border, is one of the most dangerous earthquake zones in the United States. Between December 1811 and February 1812, this zone produced some of the most powerful earthquakes in North American history, estimated at magnitude 7.0 or higher. The quakes were so violent they rang church bells in Boston, temporarily reversed the flow of the Mississippi River, and created Reelfoot Lake in northwestern Tennessee when the ground dropped and filled with water. Memphis sits directly on this fault system, and geologists warn that another major earthquake is inevitable. The geology here, thick layers of soft sediment deposited by the Mississippi River, would amplify earthquake shaking, potentially causing catastrophic damage. Standing in Memphis, you're on ground that could violently shake at any moment, sitting atop one of America's most dangerous geological time bombs. Number 31. Graceland is the second most visited house in America. Graceland, Elvis Presley's mansion in Memphis, is the second most visited house in the United States after the White House. Over 600,000 people tour the mansion annually, walking through the rooms where Elvis lived, seeing his gold records, his jumpsuits, and his collection of cars and planes. Elvis bought Graceland in 1957 for $100,000, and it remained his home until his death in 1977. The mansion isn't particularly large by celebrity standards, only about 17,000 square feet, but it's preserved exactly as Elvis left it, down to the shag carpet and mirrored ceilings. The Jungle Room, the racquetball building converted into a museum, and Elvis's grave in the meditation garden are all part of the pilgrimage. Graceland represents Memphis's identity as the home of rock and roll, soul, and blues, all the music that Elvis synthesized into his unique sound. Number 30. Lookout Mountain has a view of 7 states. From the top of Lookout Mountain near Chattanooga, on a clear day, you can supposedly see 7 states: Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Virginia. Whether you can actually see all 7 is debatable and depends on atmospheric conditions. But the view is spectacular regardless. The mountain rises abruptly from the Tennessee River Valley, creating a dramatic escarpment. Rock City Gardens on the mountain features massive rock formations, gardens built around boulders, and the swing-along bridge suspended 180 feet above the ground. The geography of Lookout Mountain, a flat-topped plateau with sheer cliffs, made it a strategic position during the Civil War's battle above the clouds. Standing on Point Park looking down at Chattanooga and the River Valley, you're at one of the most scenic overlooks in the Southeast. Number 29. The Grand Ole Opry is the longest-running radio show. The Grand Ole Opry in Nashville has broadcast live country music every week since 1925, making it the longest-running radio broadcast in American history. What started as a 1-hour radio show called the WSM Barn Dance became an institution that defined country music. The Opry made stars of Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, and countless others. The show has moved locations several times but has always remained in Nashville. Today, it broadcasts from a custom-built theater with a capacity of 4,400, and getting invited to join the Opry as a member is still the highest honor in country music. The Grand Ole Opry represents Nashville's identity as Music City, and it's been broadcasting continuously for nearly 100 years, through the Depression, World War II, and every cultural change since. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave a like to keep discovering strange and incredible facts about every U.S. state. Number 28. Ruby Falls is the tallest underground waterfall. Ruby Falls, located deep inside Lookout Mountain, is the tallest and deepest underground waterfall open to the public in the United States. The falls plunge 145 feet inside a limestone cave, 1,120 feet below the mountain surface. Discovered in 1928 by Leo Lambert while drilling an elevator shaft, the falls were named after his wife, Ruby. The cave tour takes you through narrow passages decorated with stalactites and stalagmites before reaching the thundering waterfall in a massive chamber. Colored lights illuminate the falls, creating a spectacular show. The geology that created Ruby Falls is complex. Water from the surface percolates through the limestone, collects in underground streams, and plunges over a ledge where softer rock has eroded away. Standing in that chamber, listening to the falls echo off the walls, you're in one of the most dramatic underground spaces in America. Number 27. Tennessee whiskey must be charcoal filtered. Tennessee whiskey is legally distinct from bourbon because of one extra step: the Lincoln County process, where the whiskey is filtered through sugar maple charcoal before aging. This charcoal filtering, called mellowing, removes impurities and gives Tennessee whiskey its smooth character. Jack Daniel's in Lynchburg and George Dickel in Cascade Hollow are the most famous examples. Jack Daniel's is the best-selling whiskey in the world, and it's made in a dry county. You can't legally buy a bottle of Jack in Lynchburg where it's made. The geography of Middle Tennessee, with abundant corn, pure spring water filtered through limestone, and sugar maple forests for charcoal, created perfect conditions for whiskey production. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon's smoother cousin, and the charcoal filtering is what makes it distinctly Tennessean. Number 26. The Parthenon in Nashville is full-scale. Nashville's Parthenon is a full-scale replica of the ancient Parthenon in Athens, Greece, and it's the only full-size reconstruction of the original building anywhere in the world. Built in 1897 for Tennessee's Centennial Exposition, it was originally meant to be temporary but was so popular, it was rebuilt in permanent materials in the 1920s. Inside stands a 42-foot-tall statue of Athena covered in gold leaf, the tallest indoor statue in the Western world. The Parthenon sits in Centennial Park and serves as Nashville's art museum. Why does Nashville have a full-scale Greek temple? Because the city styled itself as the Athens of the South in the 19th century due to its educational institutions. The Parthenon represents Nashville's aspirations to be a center of learning and culture. a classical temple transplanted to Tennessee. Number 25. Reelfoot Lake was created by an earthquake. Reelfoot Lake in northwestern Tennessee was created in the winter of 1811 to 1812, when the New Madrid earthquakes caused the ground to drop and the Mississippi River to flow backward, flooding the depression. The lake is shallow, averaging 5.5 feet deep, and covers about 15,000 acres. It's filled with bald cypress trees standing in the water, creating a haunting swamp landscape. The lake is a paradise for birdwatchers, with eagles, herons, and waterfowl using it as a winter refuge. The geology of Reelfoot is unique. It's the only large natural lake in Tennessee, and it exists only because of a geological catastrophe. Fishing guides navigate boats through the cypress forest, and the lake has a primordial quality, like something from the age of dinosaurs. Standing on the shore, you're looking at a landscape that didn't exist before 1812, created in a matter of days by the most powerful earthquakes in American history. Number 24. The Trail of Tears passed through Tennessee. The forced removal of the Cherokee Nation from their ancestral lands in the southeast to Oklahoma in 1838 to 1839 followed several routes, and many passed through Tennessee. Over 16,000 Cherokee were forced to march westward, and approximately 4,000 died from disease, starvation, and exposure along the way. The northern route passed through Tennessee from the Smoky Mountains to Nashville and across the state. The geography of Tennessee, positioned directly between the Cherokee homeland and Indian Territory, made it an unavoidable corridor for this forced migration. You can visit markers and historic sites along the Trail of Tears, National Historic Trail throughout Tennessee, somber reminders of one of the darkest chapters in American history. The Cherokee called it the Trail Where They Cried, and Tennessee soil holds the graves of thousands who didn't survive the journey. Number 23. Sun Studio recorded the first rock and roll record. Sun Studio in Memphis is where rock and roll was born. In 1951, Sam Phillips opened Memphis Recording Service, and in 1954, a young truck driver named Elvis Presley walked in to record a song for his mother. Phillips paired Elvis with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black, and they recorded That's All Right, considered by many to be the first rock and roll record. Sun Studio also recorded Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison, and B.B. King. The studio is tiny, just a small storefront on Union Avenue, but its impact on music is incalculable. You can still tour Sun Studio and stand in the spot where Elvis, Johnny, and Jerry Lee recorded. The checkerboard floor, the vintage microphones, and the acoustics are preserved exactly as they were. Memphis's geography as a meeting point of Delta blues, country music, and gospel created the perfect conditions for rock and roll to emerge. Number 22. The Smoky Mountains are the most visited national park. Great Smoky Mountains National Park, split between Tennessee and North Carolina, receives over 12 million visitors annually, making it the most visited national park in the United States. The park preserves over 800 square miles of mountain wilderness, including 16 peaks over 6,000 feet. The smoke that gives the mountains their name is actually fog created by the vegetation. The dense forests release volatile organic compounds that create a bluish haze. The park has over 800 miles of trails, including 71 miles of the Appalachian Trail. The biodiversity is incredible. Over 19,000 documented species live in the park, and scientists estimate there may be 80,000 to 100,000 total species. The geography of the Smokies, high mountains catching moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, creates a temperate rainforest environment, with some areas receiving over 85 inches of rain annually. It's the most biodiverse national park in America and the most popular. Number 21. Clingmans Dome is the highest point in Tennessee. Clingmans Dome at 6,643 feet is the highest point in Tennessee and the third highest mountain east of the Mississippi River. The summit is reached by a half-mile paved trail leading to an observation tower that looks like a UFO. From the tower, you can see over 100 miles on a clear day. The mountain sits on the Tennessee-North Carolina border in the heart of the Smokies. The ecosystem at the summit is a spruce fir forest more typical of Canada than Tennessee, and many of the trees have been killed by an invasive insect called the balsam woolly adelgid. The temperature at the summit is typically 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the valleys below, and the mountain receives over 85 inches of precipitation annually, making it one of the wettest places in the United States. Standing on Clingman's Dome, you're on the roof of Tennessee, surrounded by clouds more often than clear sky. Number 20. Beale Street is the home of the blues. Beale Street in Memphis is where the blues became a commercial music form. W.C. Handy, the father of the blues, made Beale Street famous with his compositions in the early 1900s. The street became the center of black culture and commerce in Memphis, with clubs, restaurants, and shops catering to the African-American community. B.B. King, Muddy Waters, and countless other blues legends performed on Beale Street. Today, the street is a tourist destination with live music pouring out of every club, but it retains its identity as the spiritual home of the blues. The geography of Memphis, a river port where Delta field hands came to find work and entertainment, created the conditions for the blues to flourish. Beale Street is where the pain and joy of the African-American experience was transformed into one of America's greatest musical contributions. Number 19. Tennessee has no state income tax. Tennessee is one of only 9 states with no income tax on wages. The state funds itself through sales tax, which is among the highest in the nation, and taxes on specific industries. The lack of income tax has made Tennessee attractive to businesses and retirees, contributing to the state's rapid population growth, particularly in Nashville and the surrounding counties. The geography of Tennessee, centrally located with relatively low cost of living outside the major cities, combined with the tax structure, has made it one of the fastest growing states in the South. It's a policy decision that fundamentally shapes who moves to Tennessee and where they settle. Number 18. Bonnaroo happens on a farm. Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival, held annually on a 700-acre farm in Manchester, Tennessee, is one of the largest music festivals in America. Started in 2002, Bonnaroo attracts over 80,000 fans who camp on the farm for 4 days of music across multiple stages. The festival features rock, hip-hop, electronic, and Americana, acts performing around the clock. The geography of the site, a flat farm with infrastructure built specifically for the festival, allows for a temporary city to spring up every June. The heat and dust of a Tennessee summer farm become part of the Bonnaroo experience. It represents Tennessee's continued evolution as a music state, from the Grand Ole Opry to Sun Studio to a modern festival that draws artists and fans from around the world. Number 17. The Tennessee River flows north. The Tennessee River is one of the few major rivers in the United States that flows primarily northward. It starts in the mountains of East Tennessee, flows southwest through Alabama, then turns north and flows through Tennessee and Kentucky before emptying into the Ohio River. The river's unusual path is due to the geology of the Appalachian Mountains. The river follows ancient valleys and gaps rather than flowing directly to the nearest coast. The Tennessee River is now dammed in multiple locations by the Tennessee Valley Authority, creating a chain of lakes used for flood control, power generation, and recreation. The river and its reservoirs define much of Tennessee's geography and economy. Number 16. Oak Ridge was a secret city. During World War II, the federal government built a secret city in the mountains of East Tennessee called Oak Ridge. At its peak, over 75,000 people lived and worked there, enriching uranium for the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The entire city was fenced, guarded, and didn't appear on any maps. Workers didn't know what they were building, only that it was crucial to the war effort. The geography of Oak Ridge, isolated valleys in the Cumberland Mountains with access to TVA hydroelectric power, made it ideal for a secret installation. After the war, Oak Ridge became a center for nuclear research and is now home to Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The city represents Tennessee's contribution to winning World War II and its continued role in nuclear science. Number 15. Andrew Jackson's Hermitage shaped American politics. The Hermitage, Andrew Jackson's plantation near Nashville, is where Old Hickory planned his rise to the presidency and governed from during his years in office. The mansion and grounds are preserved as they were when Jackson lived there, including the slave quarters that held the people who actually ran the plantation. Jackson's time at the Hermitage shaped his populist political philosophy and his views on westward expansion and Indian removal. The geography of Middle Tennessee, fertile land suitable for cotton and tobacco, created the plantation economy that made Jackson wealthy enough to pursue politics. The Hermitage represents the complicated legacy of Jacksonian democracy, built on the backs of enslaved people whose labor is often erased from the story. Number 14. Dollywood is Tennessee's most visited ticketed attraction. Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, owned by Dolly Parton, is Tennessee's most visited ticketed attraction, drawing nearly 3 million visitors annually. The theme park celebrates Appalachian culture with craftsmen demonstrating traditional skills, Southern food, and rides themed around the Smoky Mountains. Dollywood employs over 4,000 people and has transformed Pigeon Forge from a small mountain town into a major tourist destination. Dolly Parton reinvests much of the park's profits into the local community, including her Imagination Library program that provides free books to children. The park represents Tennessee mountain culture commercialized but done with respect and genuine love for the region. The geography of the Smokies provides the backdrop for a theme park that celebrates the people and traditions of Appalachia. Number 13. The Battle of Shiloh was America's bloodiest day until Antietam. The Battle of Shiloh in April 1862 was the first truly massive battle of the Civil War, with over 23,000 casualties in 2 days of fighting. The battle was fought along the Tennessee River in the southwestern corner of the state, and the geography, thick forests, ravines, and a creek called Bloody Pond, where wounded soldiers crawled to drink and died, turned the landscape into a nightmare. The battle shattered any illusions that the war would be short, and it made Ulysses S. Grant's reputation as a general who refused to retreat. Today, Shiloh National Military Park preserves the battlefield, and you can walk the same ground where men fought and died in the woods beside the Tennessee River. The battle's location in Tennessee made the state a major battleground throughout the war. Number 12. Nashville Predators play in the South's Hockey City. Nashville's NHL team, the Predators, has created an unlikely hockey culture in the Deep South. Bridgestone Arena in downtown Nashville regularly sells out, and the atmosphere is more like a country concert than a traditional hockey game, with chants, songs, and a live band. The team's success has made Nashville one of the best hockey markets in the league, defying expectations about hockey in the South. The geography of Nashville, a rapidly growing city attracting transplants from across the country, created a population interested in hockey. It represents Tennessee's transformation from a purely Southern state to a more cosmopolitan place that embraces traditions from across America. Number 11. The Tennessee Aquarium transformed Chattanooga. The Tennessee Aquarium, which opened in 1992, transformed downtown Chattanooga from a decaying industrial area into a revitalized tourist destination. The aquarium focuses on freshwater river ecosystems, particularly the Tennessee River, and was the largest freshwater aquarium in the world when it opened. Its success sparked a downtown renaissance that included parks, museums, and redevelopment along the Tennessee River. The aquarium's location on the river showcases the geography that defines Chattanooga, a city built where the Tennessee River cuts through the Appalachian Mountains. The transformation of Chattanooga shows how a single attraction can reshape an entire city's identity and economy. Number 10. The National Civil Rights Museum is built around the Lorraine Motel. The National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis is built around the Lorraine Motel, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4, 1968. King was standing on the balcony outside room 306 when he was shot by James Earl Ray. The motel has been preserved, and the museum chronicles the American civil rights movement from slavery through the present day. Standing outside room 306, looking at the wreath that marks the spot where King was shot, is a powerful, sobering experience. The geography of Memphis, a major city in the South with a large African-American population and a history of segregation, made it a focal point of the civil rights struggle. The museum represents Tennessee's role in civil rights history, both the violence and the progress. Number 9. Tennessee has more caves than any other state. Tennessee has over 10,000 documented caves, more than any other state in the United States. The geology of Tennessee, vast areas of limestone bedrock riddled with underground rivers, creates perfect conditions for cave formation. The longest cave system is the Cumberland Caverns, with over 32 miles of mapped passages. The deepest pit is the Rumbling Falls Cave system, dropping over 1,000 feet underground. The caves range from massive tourist attractions like Ruby Falls to remote wilderness caves that require technical rope skills to explore. The karst landscape of Tennessee means the state is literally hollow, with underground rivers, lakes, and chambers extending miles beneath the surface. Tennessee is built on Swiss cheese geology, and water disappears into the ground through sinkholes and reappears miles away at springs. Number 8. Bristol Motor Speedway is the loudest stadium. Bristol Motor Speedway, with a capacity of 162,000, is one of the largest sports venues in America. The half-mile track is surrounded by steep concrete banking that rises 28 degrees, creating a coliseum effect where the sound of 40 NASCAR engines at full throttle is trapped and amplified. The noise reaches 140 decibels, louder than a jet engine at takeoff. The track's location in the mountains of East Tennessee creates a natural bowl that intensifies the sound. NASCAR drivers call Bristol the last great coliseum, and races here are considered some of the most exciting in the sport. The geography of the Tennessee-Virginia border area, with its racing heritage and mountain culture, made Bristol the perfect location for this thunderous temple to speed. Number 7. The Tennessee Walking Horse is the state horse. The Tennessee Walking Horse is a breed developed specifically in Middle Tennessee in the late 1800s for plantation owners who wanted a smooth riding horse for inspecting their property. The breed is known for its unique running walk gait, a smooth, gliding motion that's extremely comfortable for the rider. The Celebration in Shelbyville is the breed's premier competition, though it's been controversial due to the illegal practice of soaring, injuring horses' legs to exaggerate their gait. The geography of Middle Tennessee, rolling hills and large farms, created the need for a horse that could cover long distances comfortably. The Tennessee Walking Horse represents both Tennessee's agricultural heritage and the ongoing tension between tradition and animal welfare. Number 6. Jack Daniel's is made in a dry county. Jack Daniel's Distillery in Lynchburg, Tennessee is the oldest registered distillery in the United States and produces the best-selling whiskey in the world. But here's the irony: Lynchburg is in Moore County,